10 years ago, we had the clunker pastor at church, and half the members were headed out the door. Plus, we were headed toward a financial cliff. At church coffee hour outside in the Garth one summer, Sally Park came up to me and asked, "Can I ask you a question?" She wanted to know if these people had ever heard of a lawn edger. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And in the middle of summer, we need to remind ourselves of this fact. It's healing season. Negative thoughts enter in. Having a mantra to chant can help move us along on our journey. Sometimes we need to think long and hard. It's always worth the effort. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith at Sunday Coffee Hour. We talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about being a substitute teacher, watering the lawn, running your car to keep your battery alive, and chronic back pain. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Genesis. Abram was in his shame, but as Abraham, God saw him in his glory. And from Hebrews, faith as belief in things not seen. It comes before getting there, even if we never quite enter in. The gospel was from Luke, a treasure in heaven. It's where your heart is. And we are all alert and waiting. Hopefully, God finds us in our glory, the glory of our expectation of the Lord. At Washington National Cathedral, the sermon was by Randy Hollerith. Randy said, like a lot of us, he sometimes wanders into video surfing. And recently he came across a video of Nick Valenda from the famous Valenda tightrope walking family. He was crossing over the Grand Canyon on a tightrope. Randy said he was uncomfortable because Nick kept chanting, "Help me, Jesus. Pray for me, Jesus. Be with me, Jesus." It seemed to trivialize Jesus. Nick was the one who decided to walk the tightrope across the Grand Canyon. Faith can be like a high wire act. Most of the prayers in scriptures and in the Book of Order or in the Book of Common Prayer help us in a similar manner. Who are we to say God doesn't want to be with us on the tightrope? Walking on the tightrope is analogous to walking the path of faith. Randy said faith can be misunderstood, and often it is. It's not a belief. In the modern era, faith is all tangled up with having the right thoughts in our head. We don't have faith if we don't believe the right things. If I'm someone who struggles with doctrine, that doesn't mean I don't have faith. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. It's one thing to believe in Jesus, and it's another thing to do what he says. Do not be afraid. Follow me. Faith requires action and taking a journey. Trusting God, stepping out on God's high wire. When we stand up for others, that counts for something, and it's worth the risk. We all walk a tightrope, and we dare not look down. We're all going to die. We live our lives between denial of that fact and the divine mystery. If we fall off the rope, it doesn't matter which side we fall on because God will be there to catch us in his loving embrace. The trust and love we share matters. Faith always wins. God will never let us go. At St. James Cathedral, the sermon was by Stephen Balke. Stephen said he was going to give us some investment advice. It was advice from his college history professor, Dr. Serino. Dr. Serino often reminded his class to invest in the people around you. Stephen said that at St. James, they invest in people, the people around them, and beyond. While many places tend to slow down in summertime, they don't slow down at St. James. They continue with the meals ministry, recently had a choir retreat, and training for summer camp leaders for the benefit of disenfranchised youth. The takeaway for the kids in the summer program is that someone cares. Stephen casually mentioned that the summer camp program cost $40,000. It kind of reverberated across the sanctuary, at least for me. I definitely heard it. I had already written my check that Sunday, but later I heard from members that they pulled out their checkbooks. It was a very aspirational message for them, beyond investment advice. Extravagance. It was extravagance that draws us in because it's God's extravagance always drawing us in. He cares no matter what the price. Christ made his disciples into apostles by investing into them with his extravagance and his aspirational message. He never looked back because it was the moment. We all want this to be the moment, but God makes it the moment, not us. We never know when that moment will be. Where will God find us when he returns? What will we be doing? And what thoughts will be in our heads? Stephen said at St. James, what's in our head is that you're important and that you matter. No matter if you're in your glory or in your shame, God will find you in both places in your glory because that's the way he chooses to find us, because he's the master of all things and he already has his checkbook out and ready to invest. My friend Reagan Burke had a blog post this week about enjoying the butterflies by North Pond. It was lovely enough, but I was like, well, where is it, Reagan? We know you're going to let us have it about how bad things are. She said she loses her faith every time she turns on the TV set. This time, her blog was about gerrymandering and about how it was kind of a necessary evil when Democrats do it, but that it was actually immoral when Republicans follow the same routine. Reagan said she worked in the Illinois state legislature in the 1980s when gerrymandering was invented by the Democrats in a basement. It immediately brought to mind the narrative of Dietrich Bonhoeffer and the resistance to Adolf Hitler. There are rules we need to follow and the ones that only apply to others. We could look at the Ten Commandments, and I recently did, as rules or suggestions to avoid bad habits. It's because they're both. They're both of these things. We're all on the spectrum between being a self-actualized person and a sociopath. Social modifiers are in place to tamp down the emergence of psychopaths and narcissists. The trick is to figure out if the social modifiers apply to you or not. The irony is that most of us think social modifiers apply to us and we follow them. And the psychopath is certain they do not. It's summertime and it's healing season. Think long and hard to see the positive message wherever you are. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. If you watch for it, you will see it. You will see God entering in. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hours every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom, I will include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.